Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Minden State Firearms. I'm glad you're all here. It's the end of the week. I hope everybody had a great week. I hope everybody had a great Friday. I hope everybody has an even better Labor Day weekend. But how can it start off bad if you started off at Minden State Firearms? So thanks for being here. What are we going to talk about tonight? Tonight, the conversation is going to be brought on by a conversation that I heard in my local sporting goods store while I was there picking up some gun targets earlier in the day. I picked up a couple gun targets. We're going to do some training tomorrow. We're going to do some defensive stuff. Maybe not tomorrow, but sometime this weekend. So we got to have some silhouette targets for that. But that's beside the point. So what I heard while I was in that store, like I said, it's a sporting goods store, not a gun store. They sell ammo, they sell guns, but the employees are there just giving you the minimum amount of information that they need to be a firearm salesman. They can read the tag pretty much. So anyway, that's why it's a sporting goods store, and I'm not saying a gun store. But I overheard from the aisle over, a customer came in, and he asked for armor-piercing AR-15 ammunition, to which the employee responded, yep, right over here. So in my head, I'm thinking, armor-piercing ammunition, that's not even legal for people to buy. I'm going to go check out what they got. So I watched the guy walk away with a box of M855 Winchester white box, and the green tip ammunition, or armor piercing, which is a common misconception, and I'm going to explain why here today. So you might be wondering, what's the difference between M855, M193? What are those terms I use, and how did I end up here? So we got two different types of ammunition here. One, just an FMJ, looks like a normal round, great. Two, a green tipped FMJ, doesn't look so normal. So the common misconception is that the green tip is an armor piercing round. You see the air quotations round every time I say armor piercing, because it's actually not an armor piercing round. And that's what brought this video on today, is that I'm trying to do away with the misleading misconceptions and the wrong terminology in the gun world. So even if you're a beginner or if you're a seasoned shooter, you might still believe that the green tip is armor piercing, which it's not. I don't mean to burst your bubble. It just isn't. So what we're going to do here, you can call me Bolt after this, because I'm about to strip a round off the top of the magazine. Think about it. So we have these two different kinds of ammo here. Lost one. And that is your green tip, 62 grain, 5.56 M855, your regular full metal jacket, 55 grain, 5.56 M193 ammunition. What's the major difference, and why am I talking about it? So your major difference is this round is a 55 grain jacketed projectile. This is a copper jacket. Inside is a lead core. That's all there is to this round. This other round here, the commonly used term for armor piercing ammunition, is a green tip. Same round. It is essentially the same round. It is a lead core with a copper jacket, but this one has a 7 grain steel tip on it. So the difference between the two that you're looking at here is 55 grain copper jacket lead core. This is technically a 55 grain copper jacket lead core with a 7 grain steel tip. That's where the 62 grain comes from. So that term, armor piercing, became popular back in 2015 when the ATF tried to ban green tip ammunition, saying it was armor piercing. And although it's the wrong term, it's not completely taken the wrong way. It's not. They didn't come up with that term just out of thin air. It does have some backing behind it, and what that is that the steel tip in that ammunition does allow it to penetrate better at further distances. It performs better at further distances because it's a heavier round and it does have that steel core. Is it armor piercing? No, it's not. Is it going to shoot through sheet steel better than the regular FMJ? I'm talking car doors, sheet steel, your 14 gauge sheet steel, 12 gauge sheet steel. It's going to penetrate. It's going to go through that a lot better than the regular 55 grain FMJ, but it's not going to go through armor. So how that works is that the steel tip in there, being a 62 grain projectile and a little bit heavier, is going to travel out. It's going to shoot faster. That actually leaves your gun with a higher muzzle velocity than the M193, the FMJ does, which causes it to shoot flatter. It's more accurate out to further distances. It's going to do a little bit more damage past 100 yards. But the M193 is not completely inferior to the M855 because within 100 yards, if you say your bedside self-defense gun is an AR-15 pistol, this is actually a superior round. The M193 is the full metal jacket, and the reason why is it does come out a little bit slower. It's going to tumble a little bit, and it's also going to it has a better chance of expanding. It's moving slower at less than 100 yards, which is going to cause a bigger wound cavity. It's more it's deadlier on a soft target within 100 yards. So just keep that in mind if you're going to build an AR-15 pistol, or if that's your main self or home defense gun. The common misconception is loaded up with the green tip. You're going to overpenetrate with the green tip, especially inside a house, a building, close quarters, and it's going to make a tiny hole. You're not going to get a lot of damage. So that is one thing that this one is superior, and that is within 100 yards, close quarters, inside your home. Just your better round for home defense. And this one is going to be better for penetrating out past 100 yards. It's going to come out faster, like I said. It's going to just shoot flatter, which makes it more accurate. And the reason being, mostly, and a lot of what has to do with, is your barrel twist in your AR-15. So the M855, which is the green tip ammunition, the steel core, shoots best out of a barrel with a 1.7 or 1.8 twist rate. What does that mean? What is a 1.7, 1.8 twist rate? So your twist rate in your barrel, the 1.7 means that your projectile is going to make one full rotation every 7 inches. So it's going to spin one full time every 7 inches that it's inside your barrel. And why is that important? Most of your standard AR-15s are a 16-inch barrel, which means if you have a 1-to-7 twist rate, your projectile is going to spin just a little over 2 full rotations before it leaves the barrel. Why is that important? The more rotations that this projectile makes inside your barrel, being a heavier projectile, the better center of gravity it's going to find, and the faster and more accurate it's going to come out of your barrel. So if you are planning on building a gun and you have a stockpile of green tip, or that's what ammo you prefer, take that into consideration when putting your barrel on there. Or if you're buying an AR-15 and you plan on shooting green tip, look for the 1-to-7 or 1-to-8 ratio when your twist rate. This is what this projectile is going to perform the best out of. The 5.56 is actually designed to perform best out of a 20-inch barrel. But like I said, the 16-inch barrel is the most popular nowadays, with a lot of the 9, 10.5, and 11-inch barrels are becoming more popular in the pistol platform, your SBRs, your pistol, stuff like that. So that's how to make this round perform at its ballistic peak without going with a 20-inch barrel, is go with a little bit tighter of a twist rate. So you can have a little bit lesser of a twist rate with your M193 or your full metal jacket 55 grain projectile, which is this here. And so this is going to perform a little bit better out of your standard, especially your budget-ish AR-15s. They have a much looser twist rate, not so tight. This one's going to already exit your barrel with a little bit less muzzle velocity and a little bit less speed, which is why it's more effective at less than 100 yards. Like I said, for soft targets, this one's going to make a little bit bigger of a impact at less than 100 yards, whereas the green tip's still going to be moving so fast and shooting so flat within 100 yards that it's not going to really expand or do any kind of damage other than poking a tiny little 22 caliber hole. So that's why I wanted to address the difference between the M855 and the M193 AR-15 ammo. Like I said, we want to get rid of all the misused terms, the common misconceptions. We want to get rid of the terms that people use to make the guns bad, which armor piercing sounds bad, right? I mean, it sounds good for you as a person if you're using it for a defense gun, but as far as the other way goes, if they let civilians have armor piercing rounds, how does anybody ever compete with that? So We want to get rid of the bad terminology. We want to get rid of the bad mantra. That's part of what makes the AR-15 seem so dangerous in the eyes of people who are not knowledgeable about the topic, is they have a lot of terms that make them seem scarier than what they actually are. So share that information. I hope everybody learned something today. Pass that on. If you ever hear someone use the term armor piercing, make sure you let them know that that's not the correct term, that that round is actually not armor piercing. It's not going to go through plate steel. It will go through, like I said, it's going to go through your sheet steel a lot easier. It's not going to go through plate steel. It's just going to make a dent, but so is the M193. So that's a little piece of information I wanted to share with you. Pass it on. Tag your friends in the post to make them know about it. And I hope that everybody had a great week. I hope that everybody has a great, safe Labor Day weekend. Get out and train this weekend. Get out and shoot this weekend. Take someone new, bring them to the channel, let them know what's up. And we are going to, like I said, do a big giveaway at 1,000 subscribers. You're not going to want to miss that. Tag your friends, like, share, and subscribe to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Check it out. I really, really appreciate everyone being here. I appreciate the support I get from every single person. Thanks for stopping by Minton State Firearms. Have a great Labor Day weekend. I'll see you again soon.